Hello, now then, welcome back to our episode 4 of the Emberpelts playthrough on this beautiful, beautiful map. I've been away for a little bit, but we are back. We ignored the silent episode that was actually episode 3, but blah, blah, blah. Old story. Microphone is working because I can see the little bar moving, and so here we are back once again. And we will see how these guys are doing in my absence. So last time we got quite a bit done to get them up to here, and as you can see, we've already started pretty much ripping out all of the dead trees, which is going to give us hopefully enough wood to, well, build loads of stuff, because that's what we're going to need to have to do. We are at a bit of a shortage of beavers, which can be fixed by adding some more housing in, which we're going to have to do anyway, so it's going to be a case of tweaking the housing a bit down here. And the one thing I would like to look at today is hopefully move on up in terms of getting some metal sorted so we can at least start looking at tubes, because these things are going to make our lives a little bit easier, certainly getting up to this thing. We're also hopefully going to start this monstrosity of a dam. Well, not really a dam, but more of a easier, faster way for getting the water to not fall onto the beavers' heads, because they do not like it, as I've mentioned in the other episodes. So hopefully, let's begin by tidying up this and getting the housing sorted sooner rather than later. So I just jumped to the back so I can figure out how I did this. So it was a little house on the bottom. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to match, but I'm gonna do it anyway. That's in. There's 2 spare beds, so that shouldn't take them too long. And with... yeah, that's kind of a difficult one with that being set as it is. We're doing to get someone down there to rip that out. There's the metal here, which again isn't going to last forever. Our other options for metal is yonder here. And there's some power that we could get for down there, but not a lot. We did start also laying in this beautiful bit of power down here, as I think we're pushing the very limits of the depth here. As you can see, we are literally just kissing the ridge, if you will pardon the expression, and it's causing no issues so far, but we will worry about that another time. So that's enough procrastinating on my part. Let's get on with it, shall we? So I think the easiest thing we can do, maybe not for here, but I think it is just to accept that they're going to get wet. It slows them down. They don't like it. I mean, currently everyone's dry, which is good to see. But we do need to get everything else put in. We could do with those berries as well, to be fair. You can reach loads of stuff. You can reach loads of stuff. I think we'll just pause these two. That fixes some of the drama with that. We did start squeezing the canola oil, as I believe we need that to make the grilled... not corn... the grilled peppers. Which... that's tomatoes. They are enjoying, but there's a lot of those, so happy days. That's good. How many did you get out of that? 1... okay, you get loads. Cool, so that's also like a corn thing whereby you get absolutely boatloads. Take that as a win. Okay, cool. So we need to work on the juices too, so we can get that flowing also. Pardon the expression of that. Let's turn this guy on. We're going to have someone go into it. We do need more storage for those. Can we squeeze that in anywhere that makes sense? Probably... it's just going to be a case of chucking it on here somewhere, I think. Probably just say, go here. Blocks, thank you. That should make things a little bit easier. And with that, they have got that. Cool. Right, so that should keep this guy somewhat busy. There is no one getting scrap, but we do have quite a bit, so it ain't gonna last too long. Looks like charcoal's gonna need some love as well, so gonna need to turn this guy on and this guy on, which has made it even worse, but never mind, it's gonna be okay. I think these guys should be empty because, yeah, alright, so let's just pause these for now. Beautiful scratching sound. And we've got in here too, that's fine. What were you, lumberjack flag? There is literally no reason for your existence, so let's get rid of that. Could put in a lumberjack flag there, to be honest. It's probably a good idea. Not lumberjack flag. Scavenger flag. I know what I meant. There we go. These guys are bored. We could move them out, but I don't really want to. I think we can take the hit to the hauling post, at least for now. Let's just see where these babies are. Let's have a look. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Fine. Alright, so builder beavers. What do we need? Well, we need a path through. That's easier said than done with what we've got. Can we squeeze through any of this? Not particularly. Alright. Let's put that in. No, not that. Gather a flag is what I wanted. Let's pick these berries clean because they're going to be useful to us. And I think, just for ease, we're going to get our good friend the ladder, which has been doing a lot of heavy lifting for us for quite a while. Can we do this in any way that makes some sense? I don't actually think so. Alright, let's just get them wet. They ain't gonna like it. And if they don't like it, I don't like it. But their discomfort will benefit the colony, so not going to be ideal for them. It's going to take a hit on the well-being. However, if we can at least get this done. Oops, wrong key. And like so, and then we just say a bit of storage up here. Log it up, get that laid in, and hopefully these guys can bring me that up here. So the discomfort should be somewhat diminished because they can do it quickly. Let's just say that can go in as well, and we can get some planks also brought up by those guys. And they're going to take a couple of days to get around to that, but I think everything else should be done. Yes, it is. Cool. We do need to focus some bits and pieces up here. So we do need to clear this out, and I want to turn this into more farm zone. Now, I can't remember how much of this we actually get. I mean, looking at this from a bad side point of view, it seems to be pretty stable. So we could just take a look underground. Alright, that goes on forever. So this could be a perfect example to get some water dump action in. A bit like this. Maybe not quite so much with the levees, but that's probably the way we're going to have to go with that for now. The construction priority of all this is low, so they should get that done. Let's also say these two things are quite important, so they can get the haulers to do that job. Could have done platforms all over this, but it's just... I don't think it's worth it. And the ultimate plan will be to get all the water just to drift off this way. Now, I think hugging this line here will be okay. So all the bad water would go off, but if one may not be deep enough, so we'll see how that goes. Good, we have someone in harvesting the berries, so that'll be nice for them to eat at some point later. I don't think there's a decent way to bad tide proof this. Not easily. Not with all the disparate water sources. Yeah, alright. I think we're just going to have to ignore that for now. We could maybe build a channel for it all to go in, and might be a bit much. Not sure. Has this got sources in? No, that's just a pit of water. Alright, cool beans. How's things looking? Blocks going up. Alright, science is very healthy. That's the drought approaching, so we can have not too much issue with that. We do get the advantage of these guys, which is the tiniest two-way stations, which I've seen in other playthroughs. Not entirely sure how all of this works, but we will have to figure it out together. Okay. Two-way levee, so I guess you can punch through water with that one? I assume. Yeah, okay, so that actually might be useful. But how do we get up here? Question needs an answer. So I could get the big one, which is the one that is used for everything. However, I think this tiny one is probably the best way to go. What's the actual cost? 40 planks. They just make much more sense. Okay, let's say this guy can sit upon here. Yes, please. This guy can sit in line with him, just down here somewhere. Something like that. And then these things should just work by building up and whatnot, as we would do before. And then you can have these bridges. How much do these things cost? Quite a bit. So we need this. If we were to build yonder there, and then tube it up all the way. Maybe not quite that much. Something like that. Cool beans. Okay, so we're going to see how this pans out from that point of view. How do these bridges work then? Do they just... Ooh, you can do it that way, can you? Okay, that might be quite useful. I very much would like to build that, thank you. And then... So, that construction will probably be quite painful. Although not as painful as that being flipped the wrong way round, which thankfully we noticed before that became too much of a problem. We can't just chuck it back one. I believe they can connect to every side. So 6-day droughts. That will give us a bit of time to deal with this up here without getting the wet fur problem. Let's just slam that shut, which should have been the case to start with. Missed the opportunity for that one. That is my bad. Can just go the most convoluted path ever. But that should, hopefully, give us a decent ability to get up here eventually, once it gets built. That's going to take quite a lot of stuff. Plank-wise, far more than we've got, and we're not going to be making any more for a while. Let's see what they get built. I think we'll be fine. These guys can keep pumping the water out there, although I don't think water's going to be too bad for the 5 days that are left of this. But if we can get all this built, we should be okay. We can cancel this, getting those. We can stay up there for now because it's probably going to be handy to have. Is it worth squeezing that in? I think the answer is yes. And get them to obtain. We do have 5 spare beavers, so you know what? In you go. Thank you very much. Can't do much up here just yet. They're paused anyway, so that's not a problem. Seems to be keeping up with this thing. What do you need? Oh, it's night time anyway, so it's not going to work. That's okay. I guess then, if you're all bored, you can go back in there. That is the wrong button. Let's see. Okay, this Jaguidis is quite away from being finished baking. Okay. Ah yes, logs. Logs please. Bring those to me. Not entirely sure if they'll come all the way up with fresh or just empty this one and bring them down here, which works either way to be fair. And we will probably have to say goodbye to this little pool here. That won't be too bad. Have I made a mistake for this back end? Why is that super low? Shouldn't be super low. Why are you super low? Is there another hole somewhere? Have I missed something? There is this, but we blocked it up, so it can't come through there. Is it just that I didn't slam these shut quick enough? Probably. Alright, well, we'll have to worry about that another time. So, that's that done. Let's fix this problem, at least temporarily. So I would like to see that when we get a bad tide, this isn't going to cause us any problems. This one's going to be a hell of a construction task, but luckily we can get away with doing the old diagonals Do we need to care about that bit? I think the answer for that is no, so let's save us some time. We'll leave those twos in just for a little bit of overflow. And path all the way to the other side of creation, which should work, into here. All the way around there. We will improve this somewhat later. By somewhat I mean completely. Should be enough to reach everything. Yes, it is. Let's turn that off. I don't really want the haulers to be dealing with that, so let's empty that. Let's get that's still done. So the only thing that's going to be a problem is builders. They're going to get wet. Their deed, so that's a bit of a shame. And I'm hoping, although I'm not sure actually what will happen if this is bad water. We will need to see. It will probably still kill these, so we need to move this so we can get the apples up here. I think that's going to need some extra... Yes, it is. Alright, let's just say goodbye to all of this then. Cut what you can. Clear it all out. Okay, so this is empty. We can just leave that as is. Don't need to worry too much about it. I want to get this bad tide stuff done first, so I'm gonna say, unfortunately, prioritize that. We could. No, we couldn't. I was thinking we could use some sort of the two-way system to bypass this problem. However, while that is definitely doable, the problem with that is it's a bit too convoluted. Yeah, alright. We will leave that alone. What we do need to think about, though, is filling this up. So it's probably better to say... Might be a tad overkill this, but let's loose that up. And we'll just turn that off and say goodbye to that. So the builder beavers will not be too pleased with that, I know. Water, with this being pulled up to max, is seemingly okay. This drop in here, well, this doesn't count, to be honest. Because of waterfalls don't actually get beavers wet, as far as I know. Wet for 6 of these. Yeah, it's going to be a bit painful, but I do believe they still work. Let's just see what this guy does. Looks like they're still going to work. Yep. Just a little bit slower. That's sad, but fine. That gives us a bit more opportunity to build up some of these. And the planks will keep up as well. Right. I do need another one of these, though, to keep that connected, but we could, in theory, just move those, if I'm totally honest, to hook it into that, which is probably the best thing to do. And this will probably cause us quite a few issues, but never mind. May pollute some more stuff, actually. There's less... But the levels look okay, so I don't think we need to worry ourselves too much about that just yet. If we need to build more across here, we will do. I believe the tubes are waterproof, so it shouldn't be an issue for them. It's a very long way for them to travel, but these guys are on it. I believe in them. I have every faith in these guys to sort it out. Probably going to need to get across here to get this metal sooner rather than later. We're probably going to need tubes to get across this side as well. What's the best way to consider that? Do we just run a line across or have a separate network? I think what might be quite cool, actually, is if this thing is two-way tunnel, is chimbal ourselves right through here, and we can come up and connect to this side. Which I think we will do, actually, because why not? See where that actually comes out. We'll just go straight through here, up to there, and then we'll bridge across that platform. That will get us to a mine, which is okay, I think, for now. But we do need to probably just take advantage of any metal that's kicking about. Such as here. And what level is that? It would be the most difficult one, obviously. Get that laid in though. That should allow, well, when it's built, these guys to get across. So we can just unpause those. Right, so this guy's got nothing to do. There's a million people that have just died, which is terrible news. However, for now, we have to grin and bear it. I think if we just set these to the old apples. That should keep everything on this side of contamination proof. We'll see what we get. But they are tearing through that, which is very good to see. Yeah, it's going to be a long while. Can we make this any easier for him? I don't believe so. I do want to change that for a sluice actually, so let's just do that, that, and that. We'll rip that out. It's quite good when it's covered. Keeps it nice and green. Can we make any of this more efficient? I don't think so. No. Alright, well, we'll leave them to it. Where have all the builders gone? Not in the kiln, that's going to be a problem for that. Forest we knew about. Scavenger flag. Yeah, okay, so it's inventors. Let's just pause these then. Let's make the numbers look a tiny bit better. Okay, we're 6 instead of like 10, but never mind. I think that'll be better. What do we like for wood? Can we pause that for a bit? Not particularly. Berries wise, I think we can polish you for now. So we're down to 4. We could pause these. Just rely on the automated ones. I think that's a good move. We can pause this guy. Let's get some of you out of here. That gives us a spare beaver. I think we need that, but that does get someone in every other job though, so... Canola is full. Oh, we do have some apples coming in, that's good to see. We had some apples anyway, they're gone now. That's gonna be like that, so I think we can pause that. So we do have quite a lot of spare beavers now. If we were to not delete, put 2 more in there. I actually think we'll be okay with that for now. Those 2 spare beavers, you can go haul. Yeah, it's flooded anyway. Didn't think that would be the case, so let's just get rid of that. What I will get them to do is do that, but low priority. And I guess those 2 can be low priority as well. It should drop off and not be a problem and not impact with that, at least in theory. I would love to get some more wood in. That is going to be a bit of an issue for the time being, because we could raise it up with some stairs and then it's not flooded, but it's a bit of a waste of resources. I don't think the blank situation really deserves it. These were pulled up, wasn't there? Yes. I'm not sure if the issue of this being so high is just a flow issue, but how high can we push the envelope on this? Seemingly quite a bit. Alright. I think we discovered this last time that 0.9 does work, but we'll find out. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more of a problem when this is all boxed in. It will probably overspill, which will be the trap that they've set mapmaker, devious as they will be, I'm sure, that if you just do this one high, it's got a problem. If that is the case, I'll probably build... Yeah, I'll definitely build it, so they just have to build them... Keep dry at least, they work a little bit faster. With any luck, the next season is another drought, although I think the last 2 or 3 have been bad tides, and that's probably pretty much guarantees us to be a bad tide, and we'll have to pull these guys right out of that. What would be good? What would be good? Do we need to care? We may need not have to care, but I was thinking if we were to cut this off by putting in a sluice or something similar. If it's a bad tide, it doesn't so much matter, but we save all this water, which we can then pump and drink. And it would keep this area green. Well, mostly. Actually, no, because this is capped off, so it's not going to work. Never mind. We just have to sacrifice the area. Not too much we can do about it, if I'm honest. Not yet, anyway. Not just yet. Alright, let's leave them to that. So we do have the old apple trees up here, which I believe most are going to be in a decent place to be able to not be killed. Let's look at some of the other goods we can install. So, I say install, plant, because that's what these things are. So up here would be trees, obviously oaks for the growing. Let's just take a look at the food. So that's wheat and corn, so that's not too much of a problem. What's all this noise? Apples, that's charcoal, I imagine that's not too great. Bell peppers we already got planted. We need maple syrup. And these are all just non-trees. So maple syrup seems to be the way forward. That being said, then let's see what you can plant around here. Don't believe all of this can survive anyway, but... Oh yeah, also... No thank you. No more cutting. Thanks very much. Let me take that out. That should do. Something like that, I think, should be fine. And we can probably plant some more apple trees too while we're here, so let's just square off that circle, just like so. Right, that is getting towards the end where this is going to suddenly either be great for us in a drought, which means these guys can get over being wet, or be a massive pain in the posterior. I would like to get someone in there to keep that fed and watered. You say you have nothing to do. That is true, you do not. Aha, of course. Of course. Okay. So we have quite a bit of water. I think we're fine with the levels that we have stored, at least for now, without changing them to be massive tanks. These guys are going to be useless shortly. See what the damage does for this from a bad tide point of view. Give them a day and then we'll pull the path back so that they're not going to be tempted to come down here for any reason whatsoever. So if they get contaminated, I cannot heal them. Not yet, as we are not even remotely there yet. So sadly, this won't be finished for the next bad tide. However, come the next one, once those are in, this area here should at least stay blue. And I think... yeah. The mistake I made was changing these for just platforms, which does mean that this gets infected. What they do really need to be is sluices. So let's just say if that's all pushed off to there. They can't build any of that, however, This isn't a problem for now, though, so we don't need to worry too much about it. We've got a day left, so let's just tuck that in so that we can at least get round to building it. This might be a bit premature, but I'm going to say goodbye to that. And nobody should be up here. Cool. Seems to have worked quite nicely. Boo hiss. That would have been much, much nicer to actually get that finished, but it is what it is. What we can do when this turns, we'll just drop everything. These will keep this area green. That's already wide open anyway, in fact. Let's just say goodbye to them because we don't need them. That should mean that the guys get on with building pretty much anything else except that. Alright. Let's pull that down and this, because it's all going to be bad water, so let's just drain what we can and see what 5 days of hell gives these poor beavers. Again, this shouldn't matter unless they've changed something, and it looks like they haven't changed something, so that's good, because that would be devastating. That's bad though. That should not be leaking and going up like that. I'm guessing the bad water pressure is much higher. Yes, okay. Quickly, let's... let's just have these as open for now. See if they build anything else. If it is, I'm going to get them to concentrate on this water wheel business down here. That would have caused the splash. It doesn't look to have caused us any issues from any contamination, so that's good news. That's all dry, but it's not... It has killed those, so we know where our border is, so let's just unplant this area. Are you just dry? I think you are. That's not contaminated. These are useless to us, so let's just... oh, they could have been fine actually. What were these? Maples. And it seems like we can get rid of all of that as well, so let's just... Again, useless because they can't plant it, however, it will be an advantage later. We get away with here. I think that so you've got nothing to do. Can ignore that for now. These guys should be able to get across, which they can, so we have the spares. So cut me all of this. Bring me in that precious wood. Cool beans. So the backflow backstop is in. We should probably do something similar this way. In fact, I think we will. But for now, you're just going to be wide open. We've got 2 days left. Yeah, because everything's dead. Thanks for that. Not too much we can do, so I suppose we just retire this area. For now, at least. You're a lumberjack flag. You should be able to get to loads of stuff. Let's just see underneath here. I'd like all this too, please. You should have now plenty to be on with. I like the way there's this one tree. Oh no, never mind. This one tree is just on the cusp of being okay. In that case, I will let you live. For your sheer determination to survive. Alright. This farm is next to useless, so let's just pause that. We have a lot of spare beavers. God damn it. Well... sigh. Alright, fine. The time has come. The time has come. Yes, please. Can you fit anywhere nice? No. Not really. Yeah, actually, that's a lie. You can. That'll have to do for now. How did they get infected? I'm going to assume it was when they're building that. I have wet fur though, so I'm surprised that's a problem for you. Too far? Too far? Alright, that wasn't the most appealing of issues, but let's get this empty. I'm gonna have to do something about contaminated beavers at this point. We have sort of the science for this and the technology, so it's probably gonna have to be a thing that we're gonna have to deal with. And we need to get... where is it? Water. I mean, I'm assuming, actually, is the decontamination pod in here somewhere? What is this? Phoenix Essence. What is Phoenix Essence? No. How do we make Phoenix Essence? What is it made by? So you make extract, okay. You make water, interesting, alright. And you're just a discharge. It's not that. That's not that. What? Okay, is that refinery? Phoenix Distillery, okay. You are not powered. Okay, well, they're all dead anyway, so... Oh, there's two and one well one. Alright. Science is still okay. What even is this thing? That's... Oh, what is this? Fuel. Right. So that is charcoal and bad water. We get 15 of that. The main, I guess, corn and water makes 50 fuel. You are also not powered, so we do need both of these. You are a big boy also. Alright. I guess put that there. And then whatever this thing is. Yes. And then decontamination pods should be able to go in here. Okay, we can't tell we are kicking out yet, but we're not really using that, so yeah, alright. Let's just chuck it in. Yes. We do need the workforce to be somewhat healthy, so I think let's just put in 2. Just commit to it. Gears, we have plenty of. Planks, not so many, but it's coming in. Blocks are all filled in. This thing, clay, this should be enough to get that built. I would like you to make corn and water, and that is the corn. And I assume this thing's a liquid, so let's just say I guess there, and I mean, they were quick to build, to be fair. So this guy needs to make that. The fuel also needs a big tank. Is it worth... No, we're not making bricks, so at best we can put this in. Cool. Alright, well that was quick. And you can be for fuel. It's lube. Fuel. Alright, cool. This stores... Oh, actually, it stores quite a lot of fuel on its own. You can be low priority. Excellent news. We have beavers being healed. How long that takes, I'm not sure. I assume it's as terrible as everything else, getting them healed with these decontamination pods. I'm pretty sure the herbalist is quicker. Anywho, let's get the builders back into this, because I would like to get that fixed. And I think actually I would like to get that done first, so it's not dripping on them anymore. I don't actually think it's a problem. But if they get that done, then we can get... It's going to drop on there. Probably going to be a case of saying, you know what, let's just do that. And that's going to take them quite a bit of time to get that finished off being built. I'll just say fix that then. We don't need to worry too much about it. They did get quite a bit done there actually, so that's good to see. All those are in. Let's unpause this then. And they can't build these because they're too far away, but that problem has been now fixed. But the power that this thing is going to generate should be pretty substantial. Yeah, they're back at 0.9, I did do that. That's back at 0.9, I did do that. Okay, cookie. We can probably pause this guy. as I think we'll have enough juice. Bit of cherryade for these guys. So that's 2 nearly healed. Happy days. Alright, cool beans. That should be fine. Fuel is good. We can probably look at a bigger engine at this point, because I think these are just fuel. Steam engine is the thing. Now that bad boy needs a lot of stuff we don't have. However, we could have. Needs a lot of bits though. I suppose actually not that many bits. Alright. Okay. To store... Oh, there's some bricks in there still. Okay, fine. I was thinking we probably need just another one of these and just let them go at it. I think that's probably wise. I'd like to duplicate that, please. But you can be for bricks. But from a construction standpoint, just lower that down. Don't really think we need to worry too much about it just yet. Cool, we're fairly even on jobs. They're cutting through all of that, which is good to see. They even started here. Good to see also. You can't plant those. And you can't reach nothing. Alright, fine. Okay, now you can reach those. Whatever. Alright, leave that as a thing. Let's just unmark that for now. Okay, wow, they tell through that. Alright. Do we lay them now? Should we lay them now? We should lay them now, because I'll forget otherwise. So, scavenger flag. Get those in. Again, not massively urgent, so just knock those down. We've still got plenty of metal over here, at least for now. That opens up this area for getting everything done. What are you complaining about? That's true, there is nothing for you to do, so let's get rid of that. Right, so everything's dropping on... Yeah, they're on that path, aren't they? Well, 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 that is going to be an issue. That is going to be an issue. Seeing if we do that, I suppose we could do... Still won't work. Oh, can we... These are a bridge though, can we just take these out? Well, we seemingly can. In that case then, does that mean we can use... that? That's turning into our science very quickly. And then in theory, it's a bit dirty, but do that. So, see how those work. We have board beavers, so in you go. What are you complaining about? Yes, alright. Oh, is wood... Are we out of wood? Yes, we are very much out of wood. Okay. And I suppose... easiest thing to do is go on a mission up here, I think. So run yonder and start clearing house down here. I would very much like this to be done sooner rather than later. And cut anything that light touches. Thank you very much. Maybe they won't be able to reach all of that, but they're going to be able to get some of it. Is that gather a flag? There's berries we can have, so they should... Okay, that was immediately emptied for giving them other stuff to do, but that's okay. Fuel is fine. It has everything it needs. Everyone's healed, so these can be paused now, so we can at least make sure that they're not using power. Do with someone going in there to top that up. And metal blocks wise, you don't need to be in there. We do have someone making the canola. Good, 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 good. And you are full on that, so we do need a tank for that. That'll do nicely. So Badwater can live there. In hindsight, I should have left those dams in, thinking about it, but never mind. Because we have a better area to pump if it was a problem. I think it's going to be alright for now. How are these guys getting along? They're getting along quite nicely, actually. That should just need hit with a hammer, which it is. Again, all this has been planted, but should have left him paused. Never mind. Never mind. Right, 0.6 days for a drought. That should speed this up significantly. We should have the wood coming in, although it's not particularly dense wood. Still have no juices, but we can work on those next time, I think. So I think what we'll do is we'll call the episode Come the Drought. I think the progress has not been as much as I would like, although, to be honest, this is probably about as good as I expect it to be from a speed point of view. Once we get this area, I guess, cordoned off, for the want of a better word, we should be able to keep this area green. So these trees should last quite a bit longer. And that's pulled up nice and high, so that'll be okay. We're out of power down there, so that's not a problem. And these guys are bored stiff, so get rid of you. So we do have 3 beavers. Sorry, 3 jobs for beavers to go into when they come available. Probably need another house. These aren't gonna die, so we're in pretty good shape. So let's leave it there. We will be able to catch up with these guys. Just pause those while I'm looking at them. Catch up with these guys next time. I think we will concentrate on getting the tube ways sorted out for that once this is finished. That's going to be the priority. We've had to do a bit of emergency funneling of resources into being able to cure beavers from bad tides, which I'm still not entirely sure how that occurred, but I'm sure somewhere it made sense to them. It's probably splashing up here, to be honest. However, we can start moving into different areas of metal because that's going to run out soon, but we're in pretty good shape with those blocks, so this being on is okay, at least for now. We do have fuel, gives us some options of getting more power. This thing is, well, putting out more than we currently need, certainly with this thing running, but we're going to need more juice from a power perspective soon, as well as more juice for the beavers to drink, and that's going to mean planting some crops, so farming is the next thing for us to be on with. And I will leave it there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please, if you have any comments, put them down below. Any suggestions or anything you'd like to see, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.